Hey guys, Raytheon here, back with another video. And in today's topic, I'm gonna share my thoughts on video game collecting in the next 5 to 10 years plus. Um, Jumping right into it, I honestly think that a lot of these games and collectibles, such as systems and handhelds and just video games in general, I think it's going to be very difficult and very expensive to get these games. Part of the reason why is I honestly think that at some point, I think that like the emulators or emulation is going to be a lot more prevalent. And it's either you're going to have a personal collection or you're going to emulate. And where are you going to get your emulators? I know currently right now, there's a lot of places that you can get emulators, or you can get emulation ROMs and stuff from different people. Sometimes you have to pay, sometimes it's free. I know when I used to mod PSPs back in the day, um, I used to get my ROMs from a plethora of different websites, and I could just search up any game I wanted and just download it. um, Another thing that I did too, which I explained in my past couple videos, is I used to rip my UMD games uh, and convert them into ISO files. But I honestly think that if you are not collecting, or if you're not emulating or getting games for it, I think you're going to be left in the near future, with nothing. And it's a little bit of a scary thought because you can imagine that some of these games right now are already expensive. Some of the heavy hitters on different platforms, such as Kuon, and you got your Pokemon Box, which is not really a game. You got those. You got a lot of games that are on various different consoles that are expensive. This Resident Evil is pretty expensive, and I'm not trying to sway you guys to make you guys want to collect. Collecting is a choice. It's always been a choice, whether you want to or not. I never really collected a whole bunch of PSP games up until later on, into when I started making a lot more money. I was able to afford more PSP games later on because they had fell down in price. Some of them did. And it's not when I started making money is when I was able to buy what I wanted to buy. So you want to make sure that you have something as a backup for the near future, because you're going to be left with nothing, essentially nothing at all. And reliving the games that you played as a kid up until you're adult, spending those time with the family and friends and building those memories could be cut really short. You can end up being left with nothing to go back to. Let's say 10 years from now, this Resident Evil Nemesis for GameCube is like, let's say it's like a $500-600 game, and let's say a lot of people out there are not really allowing you to rip the disc, or let's say there's a scarcity on some discs for the game. Let's say a lot of them suffer from disc rot. What are you going to do then? There are a lot of different options. I know for the GameCube, there's the Pico Boot, and there's a chip system that I've been getting into, that you can mod your GameCube to play the whole library. And don't threat now. Like, make sure you guys have an option for later on, because I personally think that once your internet service provider, or maybe Nintendo, maybe Sony, get to the point where they start shutting down some of these websites via your internet service provider, I think it's going to be a really game changer. It's going to put people in a situation where they have no choice but to buy digital games, and that's where they're pushing. You got to think about it. They are trying to leave you with nothing, let you own nothing. and then you're going to be happy and content with owning nothing. If they take away, it's just going in that direction. It's just what it seems. Games are too expensive for certain people to buy. Emulation is good. You can mod PSPs and different consoles and stuff to get the games that you want. But then where are you getting the games? The websites. Certain websites. Or if you know a buddy that already has games already downloaded, then you can get them from him. But if you don't know a buddy, you're really on your own. And how are you getting them? You're downloading them. Essentially, you're downloading them from the internet. So who controls the internet? Typically it's your internet service provider that gives you internet, and they can see everything. Now, there might be some things, that I might be missing. Maybe there's a proxy service, or maybe there's a what do they call them, VPN, that can protect you from that reason, and you can be able to still download all what you want. But we're starting to push in that direction, and I think it's coming really soon. We don't really know what could be happening in the next 5 to 10 years from now when it comes in relation to collecting. So be prepared. That's all I can say is be prepared, because something is coming, and it'd be a shame that a lot of the next generation can't really experience most of these things because of the fact that they're too expensive, and if you download something illegally, you get banned or you get sued or whatever. So keep that in mind. A lot of these games are not really that, like they could be emulated relatively easy, which is good now. So have your fun, have your backup now. I have a friend that, I have a couple buddies that actually have a couple of modded systems and stuff that they have already allocated to the side, that's already filled jam packed with bunch of games. The whole GameCube library, PSP library on their computer, and typically most of them play on their PC. So they have emulators, PSP emulators that they can play on their PC. And that goes the same for PS2, PS1, 3. 3 you can still play on the actual native console, but make sure you guys have a backup plan, because this is going to be insane. They're trying to take away these games from us, and I hate to see it happen. Not everything is about games, I understand that, but we do have fond memories with playing with friends and stuff. There's what is just inevitable, like what's going to happen with the market. Like how are you going to sell? There's no way to really sell off a digital game to somebody. Now, if they implement it later on where like, hey, we're not making physical games anymore, but we could go ahead and they can enable it or make it to where these games can be traded off or sent off and stuff. I just don't see that really happening. I'm being really optimistic at this point. But yeah, that's it for this video. You guys stay aware and be prepared. This is Raytheon, and you guys take care. Peace.